If a Democratic donor is putting his money in your campaign, doesn't that call for concern?
Chartbust.
It's interesting how many donors are flocking to Nikki Haley right now,
Yep.
including this big Democrat who it was the guy, I only knew this guy as the guy who was behind the E. Jean Carroll lawsuit against Trump.
That's right.
He funded that.
Yes.
He's a big Dem donor.
Just starting right off, if a Democratic donor is putting his money in your campaign, doesn't that call for concern? Because a Democratic donor would not have the same ideology with you, except there's something about your ideology that they're about to change or that is actually already in line with them, but it's not open to the entire world. It's just an inside gist, an inside scoop about who your character is, and they feel comfortable enough knowing you're gonna play game, you're gonna be on their side. I mean, that's what I would think, though. That's what I think about Nikki.
And he's made tons of donations to Joe Biden and so on. So he just gave Nikki Haley, what was it, $250,000, Reid Hoffman, $250,000 to her super PAC, Reid Hoffman. Now, will anybody mention it? I mean, I get her saying, you want to donate money to me? Great.
Yeah.
Like, I want to win, and I'll take anybody's dough. I don't think any of them would have refused money. I don't know.
And it's your super PAC, so she can't really refuse it. It's a part of the shell game that we play with campaign finance laws in this country.
But Trump is already saying, while globalist special interest donors from both parties forge an unholy alliance to beat us, I'm calling on our grassroots donors like you to fight back in a fundraising email.
Click here to send $5.
Yeah.
I think if you're the concerted media freakout that we have seen around the death of democracy in the second Trump term is concerted. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy, but it's concerted because Biden is struggling so much.
Yep.
And they're very alarmed. And that's why you see that Atlantic magazine cover. That's why you see
26 articles.
Right. You see all of this stuff. But it's not insincere, right? It's not a contrivance.
They're genuinely scared.
They're terrified of Donald Trump.
Exactly.
And if
That's
you were
what's
rich,
going on, bro.
if I was rich, I wouldn't give any money to any. I want to make it clear. I would not give any money to a politician ever. But
That's because we're in the I Want to Puke party.
that's right.
To
exactly.
nobody.
But
that's how you
if you're a rich dude or dudette
gonna
and
give
you have a
my
lot of
money to
money, what's
anybody,
$250,000?
bro.
And if you make life a little harder for Donald Trump and you throw it in there and maybe you can slow him down, and maybe all Nikki Haley is a speed bump on Trump's drive. But if you can make it a little harder for Trump, then they're going to make it a little harder for Trump. If I am Ramaswamy, I am going to parrot Trump's attack. I'm going to come right at her.
She's a globalist.
Yep,
she took money from
exactly,
the
the Democrats. She's funded by billionaires and Democrats and Democratic billionaires and the global elites and all that stuff. So the good news for Haley is this will not come as a surprise. It was a good news, bad news moment for her when the Koch network said, we're all in on Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
We're endorsing Nikki Haley.
They've got more money than God.
Good news.
But that's a fact. If Democrats are, this is very confusing for me. If Democrats are beginning to sponsor Republican presidential candidates, what does that say? It's because they believe this person is going to do what we want them to do. Something about this is not just right. What is Nikki Haley doing, bro? Like, I know she's getting the money. Majority of the elites, majority of the organizations, majority of they're all rallying behind Nikki Haley. Why? Because they know Trump doesn't want to play the game. They know Vivek is not playing the game. So they know DeSantis is losing his credibility. So the next most logical person, to be honest, is Nikki. And that's why they're all dumping money. Coca-Cola, everybody is sponsoring Nikki Haley. Why will all these organizations be sponsoring Nikki Haley if they don't think they will be able to control her, if they don't think they'll be able to get away with some of the crazy things we are seeing right now? If they don't think they'll be able to get away with it when she becomes president, they will not be putting their money behind her. And that's the honest truth. They know Trump is not going to play that same game. They know Vivek has shown he would be a hot head, a blowhead, or whatever they call him. They know it will be hard to control someone like Vivek. Definitely, Trump is showing he cannot control him. So they will always go for someone they can control, and that's why they are all sponsoring Nikki Haley. It's nothing more than that. It's nothing more than that. Even if Nikki Haley doesn't win, they want Nikki Haley to be a turn for whoever is going to win, to slow whoever is going to win, to derail their campaign. So it may just be a trick for them to be able to figure out, okay, who is going to what, so we know who to bring out. I voted Democrat. I voted for Joe Biden, but this regime has been nothing short of disappointment for me. I'm still waiting on who the Democrats are going to push out as the presidential candidate. Hopefully not Joe Biden, to be honest. Hopefully not Joe Biden. But in the meantime, let's see who they are going to bring out. But as for Republican, I don't understand why Nikki Haley will be taking money from Democrats for a campaign, and nobody thinks that's weird. Nobody thinks that's crazy.
More money than God.
Good news is they've got this amazing ground game. They can go knock on a million doors. They can run ads. They can do all that stuff. But then everywhere you go, people are going to say, dark money, the Koch brothers, how dare you? So the trade-offs are there. In Haley's case, it's worth it because she doesn't have the infrastructure because she was running a shoestring campaign.
That's the thing. I didn't realize she dropped her first ad last week. It was pretty benign.
Yeah.
That was her first ad.
Yeah.
Her first ad of the whole campaign.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's doing very well for somebody who hasn't launched any ads.
And the lesson here for Ron DeSantis, it's the Jeb Bush lesson, it's the Scott Walker lesson, it's the Rick Perry lesson. Big money doesn't help. Right? Big money, when you get to a certain point.
I don't care. She may drop her first ad now. It doesn't still change the fact that she's taking money from the wrong people. She's taking money from the wrong people. I wouldn't imagine a Democrat taking money from a Republican. As much as I don't expect a Republican to take money from a Democrat, blurring that line, it just feels somebody's not being honest. That's my fear. She's not honest.
Here for Ron DeSantis. It's the Jeb Bush lesson, it's the Scott Walker lesson, it's the Rick Perry lesson. Big money doesn't help, right? Big money, when you get to a certain point, my line is always, in politics, there's two kinds of money, enough or not enough. And too much, right, when you have all this money, you get lazy, you get indulgent, you engage in infighting, you engage in strategic misadventure because you're thinking about all the wrong stuff. Ron DeSantis is going to build a 50-state campaign. It cost him $100 million to lose 11 points in the national polls, which is a lot. That's too much.
And to your point, like, he got hit in the press for riding on private jets everywhere. Yep. Then they say she flies commercial. Those little things, I don't know, they matter to voters, but that is a good way to blow through money really fast by not cutting corners and sort of being fiscally.
Indulge me in this, which is to say, being the other guy and having to scramble and scrape to work your way in makes you better at what you do. I remember that feeling at Fox a long time ago. I feel that feeling on News Nation, where it's like, okay, we can do this. We don't have the resources, we don't have the legacy status of these other places, but we can do it and we can build it. It builds camaraderie, it builds team, it makes people work harder and try harder. And Haley has benefited from that, whereas DeSantis was bloated and it was too much and too much legacy, and he didn't get tough and fight. So tonight, maybe he gets tough and fights.
Negative dings on credit reports happen to all sorts of people.
Well, we've all seen what they have to say. So now before I even read the comment, I would like to say I honestly think Nikki Haley is not going to be good for this country. That I would say. We all seen what's going on under Joe Biden. Things are not the way they should be. And if Nikki Haley should get in power, then she's going to follow in the same trajectory. And this is not the direction we want to go. She's for war. She's for pretty much everything Democratic Party stands for is what Nikki Haley is in support of. And until we see people that have fresh ideas, fresh perspective, fresh opinions, fresh ways of handling things, I don't think we need any more person that will continue this particular legacy that the Democrats have already set out. I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat. I'm pretty much what I would call independent. I believe in voting for people's ideals and ideologies, not for the party. But I'm not fully in support of Nikki's ideology. I'm not in support of her person. She's not saying the truth. She's pretty much saying what her donors want her to say. She's playing the game, and there's no way you take money from somebody. You have to pay back, and what you will pay back is going to affect me and you. That's why I'm not in support of her. Anyway, let's read some of the comments. The first person said, if Nikki Haley gets the nomination, I'm switching to RFK Jr. That's it. I just feel these donors, they know what they're doing. I think they are using Nikki Haley to divide the Republican Party more than any other thing. They're trying to break that Republican strength so that more people can vote Democrat. But I think a lot of people would vote independent in this particular election. It's looking like that. The second person said, I'm guessing anyone donating to Haley right now have no son of draft age. We the people will not be voting for this warmonger. So quit wasting your money. This person said Nikki should be the nominee. Billionaires are the biggest taxpayers in the US. They deserve to pick the candidate. Wow. But somebody responded to that and said, girl, billionaires are one of the reasons America is declining. Yes. Nikki is a rhino. All the money in the world won't win her the primary. We are sick of that's exactly. See, this person said that alone is reason to not vote for her. Only a non-politician can get US back on top. Love, hate Trump. He is the man of the hour. I don't know about that. I like Trump, but I'm not too sure if I'm voting this year the way it is right now, bro. Trump, I don't know if I'll call Trump. Trump is a politician, but not a career politician. Majority of all these guys are career politicians, and except for Vivek, majority of them are career politicians, and that's the problem. As a career politician, you get money from anybody, and that's what Nikki Haley has just shown. That's just the problem, bro. Anyway, I just think Nikki Haley is the billionaires are either using her to break the Republican caucus voters. They are using her to break the Republican, split that vote. Or they know if she gets into power, she's definitely going to dance to their tune. It's either one of the two. And for that one single reason, I hope she doesn't win. I'm sorry. I'm an independent person. I believe in people whose ideology, who can stand by their own ideology. She cannot stand by her own ideology. She's dancing to the tune of the people donating to her. And that for me is very icky for me. It's the reason why we are where we are today. Democrats, for the most part, dance to the tune of their donors. That's the problem. That's what we've seen. We just saw it with California. Gavin Newsom. When world leaders were coming to San Francisco, he cleaned up because those are the people he cared about, not the common man on the street. And that's the kind of president Nikki Haley will be. That's the kind of president the Democratic Party has been. They care for their donors. They care for what the international world, the way they see America, the projection of America to the outside world. But for the people that actually the Americans, taxpayers, that matters the most to the country, the people that are the so-called Americans, nobody gives a fuck about them. And that's the problem. Nobody gives a fuck about us, that are Americans, that we are here, that we live here. No, it's all about what the outside world perceive us. That's what Democrat stands for. And that's what I think Nikki Haley is going to do. She's going to dance to that same tune and that same propaganda and that's why I'm not really. If she becomes the nominee, definitely I'm not voting Republican. Depending on who becomes the nominee on both sides, I'm not too sure yet. I want to see what their ideologies is, what they stand for, what they are preaching. I'm not for the party. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If what you're saying and if your personality stands to be true and honest, then I'm for you. That's my stand. Because right now, all these career politicians will take money from anybody. And that is what Nikki Haley has just proven. She's a career politician. She's going to take money from anybody. That's all I have to say. Guys, what do you think about this episode? What do you think? Go into the comment section. Let me know what you think. Coca-Cola sponsoring Nikki Haley. Democrats sponsoring Nikki Haley. Is this the right move for the Republican Party? Let me know. And if you are new to this channel, comment, like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. That's all you can do for me. Subscribe. Click the notification bell so you don't miss my future update. And on that note, I say thank you once again for joining us on Short Burst. Until we see you again, peace.